Welcome to another video on the 240. This one's mostly going to be vlog style, not so much install or anything like that. I don't know if I'm going to do this as a, two-part video, or if it's going to be a one video and just a little bit of a late upload, or like an upload when I hear it back. But at least this part or piece of the video is going to be around getting the car out there. So today we are taking the S14 to performance shop, Sound Preformance LLC in Chicago. And they're going to be diagnosing that knock that I have. I also told them to see if they could trace the oil or power steering leak. I haven't figured out if it's power steering fluid or oil. Could be both. But yeah, they're basically just diagnosing the car, figuring out what that knock is, figuring out where that power steering leak / oil leak is coming from. And we're kind of going to go from there. Depending on what it is, I may have them fix it, I may not. It just kind of depends on what they say. But for the most part, I'm just going to be putting the hood on. I might move these because these aren't really going to be doing anything. I don't know for sure. And they should be fine. But yeah, I got everything tied up in here. This is still tied up. These are all the headlight wiring things. Those are all tied up. Everything's pretty much ready for this car to go except for the hood. So I'm going to put that on. Tow truck is already on its way. I got a flatbed coming and we'll be good to go. Oh, speaking of devil, they arrived and we are good to go. What's going on? Well, that's pretty much that. We got the car hooked up. Nothing but space. Rolling in. S14 on its way to Sound Performance. We gonna be good. Alright, so supposedly it's up in here. It's on the right, and then a left, and then a right. I'm pretty sure if I start seeing performance cars, then I'm exactly where I need to be. Or my car. I may have beat him here, to be honest. Sound Performance. I see Supras. I see a lot of Supras. They got an FDRX7. Car just pulled up. I was trying to catch you. I'm like, maybe I beat him here. Yeah, we got all the Supras, 2JZs out here. Let's get up in here. Sound Performance. Billet 2JZ block. Got Fox body here, drag spec, skinnies in the front, deflated biggies in the rear, but it doesn't have a motor in it right now. We got the RX-7 over here, FD. We got I believe this is an MK3. Yeah, MK3 Supra over here. Another MK3, two more MK3s over there. All the MK4s are up front. We got is this a Soarer or is this a SC? It could be a swapped SC, Then we got the 300 ZX, looking good. I actually like these in this color. Looks like it's got a LS intake on it, so I imagine it's probably LS swap, but I can't lift people's hoods up. We got a Pontiac GTO drag spec. It is all here. We are at Sound Preformance. I mean, shit. When are you ever gonna see this thing outside like this? The Supra's in the back. Actually, I'm gonna take a picture of that one. Boop. Boop. All right, sorry. Gotta get a thumbnail somehow, you know. But yeah, I was going over the lineup. Had to get the tow truck guy out of here. You know how that is. Yeah, pretty good lineup. GTO, we got another MK3. I already pointed those out, and then you got all the MK4s over here. Airplane. Yeah, MK4s. And so they do a lot of Jay-Z work. They're gonna work on it now. As you can see, they got a lot of Jay-Z's in here. This one's on the dyno, which is making some sick power. Pushed it in and we're good to go. Sound Preformance, everybody. That's a wrap. All right, guys. I just wanted to stop in, or put a little recording over this image. This is pretty much the invoice that I got back from Sound Preformance. I went ahead and crossed out in red the things that I already knew about the car and things that I was already gonna fix. Like some of those is just, vehicle has no fan for the radiator, and I have the fan and I am gonna put it back on. I just took it off for diagnosis, stuff like that. Clutch line not hooked up, that's something that I left off intentionally, so not worried about that type of stuff. But to kind of give a little explanation towards the rest of this stuff, in actuality, the car was fine. No rod knock, nothing like that going on. What they found was that the knocking noise was coming from cylinder 4's coil pack. The coil pack was just a little bit higher than the rest of them in the engine. It wasn't seated properly. What they went ahead and did was they took it out, inspected it, made sure everything was good, then put it back in and made sure that it was fully seated in cylinder 4, and they said that the noise went away after that. So when we get the car back, we'll confirm that, but they said after they did that, they didn't hear the knocking noise anymore and everything was good with that. So looks like we'll be keeping her. Outside of that, with the oil stuff, so most of this stuff was just kind of minuscule. The biggest thing with the oil is he's saying that the oil pan was leaking, and that could be a mix of the RTV that I use or the pan itself, because it does have a dent in it, but the pickup tube is not dented. The oil pressure that they tested was fine, so I'll see if I want to replace that pan or not. But yeah, so I'll reseal the pan. That'll be one thing. The rest of it is the other big oil leak that they were talking about was coming from the sandwich plate that I used. He said it looks like some fittings that were on there I just had a little bit loose, which I completely kind of expected. I was like, it's probably just a loose fitting somewhere. Outside of that, it's other little minuscule stuff, like some things being a little too close to the exhaust that I'll just reroute, replumb for the oil feed, oil drain, all that stuff, reclock the turbo and get that stuff going. So that's one thing. Let's see, I'm trying to think. That's pretty much it for the most part as far as the main stuff. That's all that I'm really worried about. They did tell me about some electrical stuff, like my ground. I have it set up a little bit differently. The way that I have it is the negative terminal from the battery goes into, I have a connection going into the chassis of the car, and one wire that goes to the ground on the engine directly. They said that I don't need that. I just have the one wire going to the chassis of the car, and then take the ground that I have on the engine and attach that to the frame in the front, and then ditch the big long negative cable that I have in there entirely. So I could go ahead and knock that out. Other safety things, replacing the fuse with the circuit breakers and all that stuff, throttle bracket, little touch-up things. But they did give me a fine list to categorize this stuff so I can start knocking it out one by one. Lastly, the big thing that it was, or two things that I did take notice of. One is my steering column. For some reason, my steering column has a nasty habit of disconnecting under high stress, and that is not okay. You never want to be driving and then the steering column disconnects. It's probably like a catastrophic failure. So that's something that I will have to figure out how to handle. The other thing was, they noted that my adapter plate was really close to my flywheel, and they said that it might hit the flywheel or something like that. They're not sure, but they're also not familiar with the PNC conversion kit. It says PNC provides the adapter plate and the flywheel. I wasn't worried about it, but it's something that I'll definitely take note of. As far as the rest of the stuff, transmission leaking wasn't a big thing. It was residual oil from the engine. The drain plug does seep a little bit, but not that much. Add some coolant, that type of stuff. One of the waste gates that I have on there is missing one of the block offs for the unused water ports. Just fill that stuff up. So little small stuff like that, but basically giving me the overall impression that this car is almost complete. And then I'll bring it back to them and have them tune it once I button all this stuff up. Just left TF Works, had to grab some stuff. So I have the proper Nissan oil gasket maker for the oil pan. I have my oil pressure gauge that I'm going to be making, that kit, and the fitting for the sandwich plate to install that. And I believe that's it. Yeah. So oil pressure gauge video definitely will be coming soon. And we already got the stuff to correct the oil leaks, the main oil leaks at least. So we're about to head to Sound Preformance, pick up the car, take it back, and then I can get started on some of this stuff to get it ready for first test drive, pretty much. And then after that, make it look like a real car and dyno day. Well, actually, I might dyno it before I make it legit with like headlights and taillights and stuff. But hey, that's neither here nor there. Back at Sound Preformance, just got the car moved out. Yep, time to take it back home. So, we got everything squared away. Now it's time to bring it back. So there's that. They actually got the car diagnosed in a day, or actually 2 hours, so that was one thing. But we're gonna confirm if it's still making the noise or not. Hopefully I don't have to give it a jump. It should just start up, but it's neither here nor there. There's a bunch of stuff that we gotta fix or work on anyways to get this thing road ready. So let's see if this thing behaves. that's gonna cut it here. As you heard, it is currently not knocking or making that noise or anything like that, so we're good to go for now. I mean, it's clearly still got its things, it's still got stuff that needs to be tuned out and stuff, so we're still good to go though. Overall, I'm happy that this thing has been diagnosed, and honestly, for the price that I paid to get a mapped out list of everything that I need to do on the car, I'm perfectly fine with. So it's just all miscellaneous stuff like I went over earlier. Another thing I gotta do is reclock the turbo, get this thing going straight up and down, relocate this feed so it's not running through the runners and have it come around on the outside. So I also have to adjust the plumbing for the bottom side too. But yeah, reclock it straight up and down, get a longer feed line, air filter, you know, small stuff like this is not blocked off, but the water port on that, or the other port is on that one, is blocked off, that type of stuff. So I'm gonna end the video here. Like, comment, subscribe, follow the build, and we'll get going on this, and she should be on the road pretty soon.